You are listening to Finessing the Essay, a podcast where New Design High School students share their stories about crafting their personal essays for their college applications. I am Mariana with Dwayne, Matthew, and George from 11th grade A block. Just got into Emily's class, and let's just get into it. What was y'all's story about?
For me, my story was about specifically talking about way before during like elementary school. So for me, I was a very quiet kid. So at that point, I didn't socialize with a lot of others. So it was like I felt like I was sticking to my own bubble and trying to be away from other people because I feel like for myself, it was a history of feeling like I was going through certain challenges in my life that I felt like it was happening frequently and more often that I didn't understand why it was happening to myself. So I felt like more to it was learning to, I feel like each thing I went through was a certain lesson that I need to learn, not only for situations, but for myself as well to grow as a person.
Oh, pretty good, honestly. Yeah.
It was good.
What was your story about?
Mine was about I guess like hearing other people. I guess like being a listener to other people, and just like letting them be heard instead of like bottling up emotions or stuff like that. Because I was, in a way, like when I was in my childhood, that I didn't really be heard of like my emotions, and I kind of mature up a bit for it. So I wanted to like basically learn what I couldn't like have when I was younger and give it to others in like a helpful way and like just to impact in a good way to them. But that's mainly like, what it was about, just me learning and then giving. So,
Um, my essay was about the same thing. It was about listening and just being heard in life. I wrote a lot about I guess my personal experience with how listening is important and how you really do need it in your everyday life.
Okay. Why was writing this story for your essay significant, and were there other options to writing?
I feel like for me, mine was more significant because it was a point in my life where it was like I needed to learn how to handle situations because I feel like more to it was the overall fear. I feel like more to that certain point in my life, it was like the start of something new for myself because for me, I just felt like for me, it was a part where I felt like I was unlucky or it was like I just felt like everything was happening was meant to happen. Until like someone in my life that was wiser than me was telling me maybe things that happen or just to learn something about yourself, but also how to handle through things because at that point it's like I was taught to not always keep things in, but also spread out through others. So I don't really, for me, I feel like that point was where everything started for myself when I started like being social people or I was talking about my feelings even so still to the point I still kind of like struggle with it, but I'm always making progress more every day because at the end of the day I feel like more to for me, like progress doesn't always happen in the day. I feel like it takes more time. You just need to be able to put the work in regardless to the point. So I feel like more to that certain point in my life was the kind of start of everything else that happened from there to now.
Clap it up for that. Damn. You got like a rags to riches emotional story going on.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Why was the story significant, and were there other options?
The story was significant to me because like it's just how I grew up. Like I really wanted to be like I guess heard, but like sometimes just listening is better than being heard because you could really like change people with the way you listen to them. Not a lot of people are heard. I think just listening is important. And other options, I don't really think there was other options. At least in my opinion, there wasn't.
yeah, I say the same thing just as because I mean it's like the same exact topic too, but I think just like you could help people avoid situations from like what you learned, or I guess like what you went through. So I would try to do that and have them avoid that situation or like the good and bad from like choices they can make. Just trying to like help out in any way I can.
Was there an outline for your story and brainstorming any ideas?
I feel like for mine, it wasn't really something that I had thought about. It just came to me because I feel like more too, it was the first thing that I thought I could reflect on because it was very significant in my life that it really just changed how I thought about things or how I handled situations. I feel like for me, it was like that thought, it wasn't even a thought for me. I feel like it just came into mind quickly for myself. And even so, for it, it just went easy because at that point I was able to very talk about it. And even so, for a long period of time. So it was like, I don't know, for myself, even so, because I feel like for me, usually, I don't have to think a lot when it comes to, like stories because sometimes they just pop up in my head and after that, I just speed through it. So I feel like that moment was something that I didn't really have to think about because it was very important that it really reflected who I could be and what I was able to become from there to over here.
So, for you at least, it wasn't challenging to write the story.
No.
Was it challenging for any of you?
No, I feel like because like have experiences in it, so I could write almost not exactly about it, but of what I learned and how it felt, and just like the experiences helped me, um, I guess in a way like just have the memory and write it down of what I learned from it. So I don't think it was that like really challenging.
Personally, I think it was challenging. I'm not really good at like writing down like I guess my feelings or emotions about like anything. So like writing about like how I feel about listening was a little challenging. It took me like a few days, like I think a week. So like I turned in very late.
Mm. Was there a favorite part of the essay that you remember clearly writing about?
There was a certain part. I feel like just overall the whole thing because I felt more too. I was able to put in everything else that I can say for how I was back then to over here because I feel like for me, usually I don't really as much talk about like how I was back way before I came to high school and everything else because I feel like for me it was like I was so focused on now that me able to go back and like remember everything, try to put it into how I am today. I feel like more too that was the overall thing I enjoyed because I like to like reflect of how I used to be into now because I feel like more too is like you feel more accomplished that more too you're so fixated in what you're doing right now you don't realize until it's like a certain point in yourself that you notice that yeah I'm not as much as I was back then and even so I'm making more progress every single day so I feel like more too it was just the overall writing about how I was from there to now I feel like more too I was able to conversate with somebody even so like my past self in some cases because like I feel like I'm having conversations with myself of how I used to be to now because like I don't know I just was fixated so much on now that I didn't always focus on how I was back then and I feel like more too just writing about it was more satisfying than anything else.
So for both of you,
Um, I would say of how I like felt at the like I was writing how I felt about it, and I guess I realized of like how much I do in a way like enjoy listening because it makes me feel. I feel like you just like you can bond with people and all that from just a simple, deep talk and just like letting them be heard, and in a way you could also be heard from just like in a way knowing that both of y'all are like safe to talk about whatever. So it just um yeah, like I guess I didn't realize that until I was writing it, and I think it just helped me learn a little bit, just like yeah, like a little bit from it.
I think my favorite part about it was this is like a way I could finally be heard instead of just always listening. So I think that's what I really liked about this essay. I was actually being heard for the first time. So that's what I liked.
so for next year, when y'all are writing out college essays for actual colleges for actually read, are you going to use the same topic in the same writing, or are you going to switch to something else?
I feel like I would use somewhat of the same way, but I would like to more to add on to it because I feel like more to is like, yeah, I'm also introducing how I am as a person, but I wanted to also try to connect to how I was developing myself from there to over now, plus everything else. But I feel like because it's like, I feel since we're both all in 11th grade, we all have more time to like experience more new things before we can really like put that essay out there. Because I feel like more to once we have all that knowledge, everything that we have, so from there to now, I feel like it'll be more better. Because I feel like more to I feel like for myself, it's like yeah, I was able to talk about how I developed myself, but I know it could be more greater what it is right now. Because at that point, since I deal with 12th grade now, I'll be able to at least like somewhat have more of what I've learned from there to now, so I can at least relate to it. Because in every case, it's like if it comes to like jobs or anything else, I'll be able to use that as a way to putting it into my new essay. So I'll say, yeah, I'll add, like I'll keep it there, but I'll add more new details. So at that point, it's more like people get a good understanding of who I am and why they should add me in. It's like more colleges or more opportunities.
Yeah, I think I'd like. I want to. I wouldn't keep the same topic. I would change it. I feel like because, for a college essay, I kind of want to like go all out and, like, I guess like give the best chance I can to like write it and all about me. So, yeah, I think I would change it, or maybe just a few things from it.
Um, like Georgia and Matthew said, like I'd have it there, but just add more to it. Instead of it just being only about listening, like it's just a I can write more about just a deeper look into me and who I really am instead of it just being about just one topic.
So, with the college topic, do you all have a dream school?
A dream school for me, I don't know if I have a dream school because at that point for me it was like for a while in my life I didn't really know what colleges to go to, and I not even just started like trying to look into one. So for me it's like I don't know for certain if I want to go there, but at least it's like one of my options. Like I wanted to go to SUNY at that point in Albany. So at that point, that's just one of my one options right now. Because for me, I just started looking into colleges. Because way before, for me, I can't say I was so fixated on wanting to know my colleges way back because I feel like I had more like time to just enjoy and have fun. But like more tours now is like now I'm reaching the point that yeah, I have to figure out where I should go, or have at least have options for myself. So at least I'm not stuck in one spot and not having like an idea where I want to do or where I want to go for college. So SUNY UA Albany is kind of one of my first.
I don't think I already have like a dream college. I think I'm just trying to find a college that I'm willing like I'm just going towards and all that to see which one I wanna that I think is fit for me. But that's my plan so far. It's just trying to see which one it is.
I personally don't have like a dream college because like I guess college really hasn't been a topic on my mind a lot, but I have been looking for colleges like out of the state, but I haven't really found any that I guess would say my dream college.
Well, if you all were to go to college, what would be your preferred major? Like business, arts, culinary arts?
I feel like I would do more engineering because it's like for me it's like because for me way before I wanted to like my future job is like working in IT, so that's why I wanted to gain more knowledge of like technology and everything else. So more to I get more opportunities to work with other people that know more than me. So at this point I would be knowing getting to know more knowledge of how like technology works. So at that point I can use it when I have my job and everything else. I feel like more to technology is like something that I like generally doing or using more time in the day. So I feel like more too, I would really enjoy having fun doing that overall as a job and plus making more pay.
Yeah, I'd say like I want to do like a mechanic. So I do like that or like a like engineering because I feel like there's a lot of different types of engineering in that area. So those are the type of stuff I want to at least aim towards.
Yeah, I also want to agree with what Matthew was saying, engineering, but recently I've been looking into like a lot of culinary schools and stuff because I do enjoy like cooking and baking, but yeah.
Okay. So, do y'all see yourselves going out of New York City in the future or staying in for college and future endeavors?
I feel like more to yeah I see it because it's like I want to be able to I feel like for myself it's like I think for me, I have a whole game plan how I'm gonna do it because I feel like more too is like I want to be able to just have fun doing my job, having fun making a lot of pay, and then after that, then I would probably leave out like the U.S. because like I would already have everything stable and everything else. I would have a good source of income, and I would have my way of making money to be very more sufficient for myself. So I feel like more too once I have that and I already like have that way to be able to like make everything else, I would probably leave the country.
Yeah, I see myself moving out of like just out of state and all that. I do not want to be like in New York and all that. So, but yeah, that's that's all. That's all you go.
So you were staying or going out of New York City?
Yeah, I was gonna stay for a while, and after once I made my money, then I'll leave the country.
Okay. And you?
I said, I want to leave. I don't want to be in New York for like too long.
Like straight after like high school, leaving straight New York, just not coming back.
Wow, y'all just bouncing. Okay.
I've been here for too long.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to any younger students who are getting into this process of writing this essay?
Like advice to give, like I feel like more too is like think about more to something in your life that kind of changed your whole perspective of like how you handle things or anything. Because I feel like more too is like once people like they're gonna deal with certain challenges, and at that point they're gonna deal with certain things in their life that not be able to handle. But they need to also realize that is like even so they feel like no one would understand them. I feel like more too is like going to somebody. But that's pretty much it. I can say advice for them.
It's okay. Just like you could go like extend it more 5 more minutes and that's it. Wrap it up.
I say just something that makes the person like them. So like that's really my advice. Like something that impacts them and makes them who they are.
Yeah, I want to add on to what Matthews is saying. Just write about something that makes you feel like you're really living. Because if you're not living, you're not really writing, are you? You have nothing to write about on paper.
Period. That's a good ending. Clap it up for yourselves. You're talking a lot. Hopefully that interruption wasn't too bad. So we're done for now. You have been listening to Finessing the Essay, a Spark Campus Studio production.